Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of one of the most powerful and talked about leaders in the world is Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia. His life is like a movie, full of struggle, action, and determination. But this is not just a story about politics. It is about how a poor boy with big dreams became one of the most influential men on earth. So sit back, relax, and listen carefully. This story will not only improve your English, but also inspire you to believe in yourself. Let's start with his childhood in Leningrad. Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin was born on October 7, 1952, in a city called Leningrad, now known as St. Petersburg. He was the youngest of 3 children, but his 2 brothers had died before he was born. That made him the only child of his parents, Maria and Vladimir Spiridonovich Putin. The family lived in a small, crowded apartment inside a communal flat. This was a building where several families shared the same kitchen and bathroom. Imagine waiting in line to use the toilet or the stove. That was daily life for young Vladimir. After World War II, life in Leningrad was very hard. Food was limited, buildings were damaged, and people were struggling. Putin's father had been injured in the war, and his mother worked hard to support the family. Little Vladimir was small, thin, and often bullied by other boys. But instead of crying, he decided to become stronger. At the age of 12, he started learning judo and sambo, a Russian martial art. Day by day, he trained with discipline. Eventually, he became a black belt, a skill he still values today. Unlike most children, who wanted to be doctors or teachers, young Putin had a different dream. He wanted to become a spy, a secret agent in the KGB, the Soviet Union's powerful intelligence agency. To achieve this, he needed to be smart, disciplined, and well-educated. So he worked harder in school, focused on his studies, and even learned German, which would later help in his career. After finishing school, he joined Leningrad State University, where he studied law. Quiet and serious, he impressed his professors with discipline and focus. In 1975, his dream came true. He officially joined the KGB. For a boy from a poor background, this was a huge achievement. He began working as a secret agent, protecting his country from behind the scenes. Putin's first big assignment was in East Germany during the Cold War. He lived in Dresden, where he worked to gather intelligence and support Soviet interests. There, he improved his German and learned how to handle dangerous and complex situations. But in 1989, everything changed. The Berlin Wall fell, and soon after, the Soviet Union began to collapse. Putin returned to Leningrad in 1990, and in 1991, he left the KGB to start a new chapter. After leaving the KGB, Putin started with a small job at his old university. Soon, he was offered a role in the government of Anatoly Sobchak, the mayor of St. Petersburg. Putin worked hard behind the scenes, solving problems, handling projects, and staying loyal to his boss. His calm and disciplined nature made people respect him. When Sobchak lost his position, Putin moved to Moscow in 1996. There, he began working for the Russian government. At first, his roles were small, but his hard work and reliability caught attention. By 1999, President Boris Yeltsin noticed him. That same year, Yeltsin made Putin the Prime Minister of Russia. On December 31, 1999, Yeltsin suddenly resigned. He named Putin as the acting president of Russia. It was a huge surprise. Many people didn't know him well. But he quickly showed that he was serious about leading. In March 2000, Putin won the presidential election with a large majority. At just 47 years old, he became the president of Russia. His first challenges were big: a weak economy, high corruption, and violent conflicts in Chechnya. Putin acted firmly, rebuilding Russia's image as a strong and united country. Many Russians saw him as a man who could restore national pride. Putin focused on three main areas. 1. The economy. He worked to collect unpaid taxes, attract foreign investment, and strengthen Russia's oil and gas industries. Soon, Russia's economy began to grow again. 2. The military. Russia's army was weak after years of neglect. Putin modernized it with better weapons, training, and technology. Over time, Russia became one of the world's strongest military powers. 3. Order and stability. He fought against corruption and limited the influence of wealthy businessmen called oligarchs. His message was clear: no one was above the law. By the mid-2000s, Putin had become one of the most powerful leaders in the world. Putin built a reputation as a strong and fearless leader. Carefully staged photos showed him riding horses shirtless, diving underwater, flying fighter jets, and practicing judo. These images were designed to show strength, energy, and discipline. He was also careful with his personal life. Putin married Lyudmila Shkrebneva in 1983, and they had two daughters, Maria and Katerina. But in 2013, they announced their divorce. Putin rarely discusses his family, keeping them out of the spotlight. While many admire Putin, he also has critics. Some accuse him of being too strict, limiting free speech, and controlling the media. Others criticize his foreign policies, especially the annexation of Crimea in 2014, which led to sanctions against Russia. But inside Russia, many people supported him. They believed he was protecting Russia's interests and making the country stronger. Putin is known as a strategic thinker, often compared to a chess master. He carefully builds alliances with countries like China, India, and Middle Eastern nations, reducing Russia's reliance on the West. He also invested in cyber technology, making Russia a major player in information warfare. Accusations of election interference in other countries show how powerful this strategy has become. Another bold move was creating the Eurasian Economic Union, a group of countries trading together under Russia's leadership. After more than 20 years in power, Putin remains one of the most influential leaders in the 21st century. His story is not just about politics, but also about resilience and determination. Here are some lessons we can learn from his journey. 1. Resilience matters. Life will challenge you, but staying strong and adapting will help you win. 2. Think strategically, don't rush. Plan every step like a chess game. 3. Stay true to yourself. Leadership is not about pleasing everyone, it's about standing by your principles. 4. Invest in growth. Always improve yourself and help others grow. Vladimir Putin's journey, from a small communal apartment in Leningrad to the presidency of Russia, is a story of determination, courage, and vision. You may admire him or criticize him, but one thing is certain: his life teaches us that greatness is not about where you start, but how far you are willing to go. So remember, your future is in your hands. If you dream big, work hard, and stay focused, there is no limit to what you can achieve. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring English learning stories.